I have an older cousin. She's probably like 3 years older than me. And, you know, she was super happy about getting breasts. You know, I'd spend a night and she'd be going through these routines of how to like make sure your breasts are like growing. So I just thought that like if you didn't do those things that they wouldn't grow, you know. And she was like 11, 12, whatever, just trying to make sure that she had the right breast size, I guess. And so I asked my mom, because I was really freaked out about like my body changing like that. It was like, oh my God, you know, they just start growing and things start popping out places. And so I asked her, do women have to get breasts? And I don't know what her answer was, probably just like, it's a part of like being a woman, you know, like everybody, a girl grows and you want to be a woman. It's part of being a woman. You have to have breasts. My cousin Marcus, and he's like male-bodied. He's a man, male-bodied, and he would do push-ups and stuff. So it's like everybody wants their chest to look a certain way, and so my cousin, who was female-bodied, wanted to make sure her breasts were the right size, and then my cousin wanted his chest to be like tight, and like he also wanted his chest to look a certain way. So I'm more identified with that, and I would do push-ups, and you know, my dad had weights in the garage, and I was like, okay, cool. I really did think you had it in your own control to like have whatever chest you wanted to have, you know? And so, yeah. Yeah. And yeah, you do have it in your control now, I guess. Yeah, to have whatever chest you want. I started binding when I was, like 18, 19, and I would use ace bandages. And, you know, you have to be careful, you know, because they would always come apart. There wasn't a Velcro. I would like tuck them in. And so you just kind of learn how to keep it put. So you try duct tape, you try putting things over. But I started boxing, just like Taekwondo, boxing. And I was wrapping my hands one day and it just hit me. I was like, oh, okay, these are staying. They never come off. And they have a Velcro and they don't come off. They really don't. Where like the ace bandage kind of breathes a little bit, this doesn't really move as much as the ace bandage. So you're restricted a lot more. You know, it's so physical, it's so emotional, like how it's played out in your relationships with other people, and it's physical in how you walk in the world, you know. So I'm always thinking about it. Yeah, it was validating. The clothes that I wore felt right, looked better to me. I identified with it. I didn't want my chest to show. I didn't want people to respond to my chest. So it was a way of like, yeah, this is like wrapped up, off limits. If I didn't want to be touched, it was like another thing, like, yeah, okay, we don't touch that part. I think I would bind so tight because it was so important for me to pass. And, you know, sometimes I got scars on my sides. You can't expand up, you can't expand out, you know. It's like a trans version of a corset, I guess, I don't know. Who knows, you know, what the effects of restricting your chest area for the entire day. Who knows what that does. A good friend of mine, I call her my sister, my older sister. She's an older queer woman that I look up to, and she's an acupuncturist, and her name is Deshay. She was just commenting on my growth because she's known me for the past 6 years, and she's like, yeah, you know, is it because it's 2012 or I don't know. She's like, it just seems like this year you seem more in your body, you know. And then I also noticed, and I was like, yeah, you know, I do feel like more in my body. And she's like, yeah, and also, like, you've taken acupuncture and you're like seeing a massage therapist. And she's like, do you think there's any connection? And I was thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. And I think when you're not feeling in your body, you know, maybe you don't want anybody else to touch it, or anybody who's at least licensed to be like, you know, to comment on your body if you're not feeling some kind of way about it, you know?
Binders and compressors can cause tension and pain in muscles. They restrict range of motion, so your body isn't able to move as much as it should to be healthy and balanced. So in trying to figure out a solution to pain, you don't necessarily want to focus on the muscle that's experiencing the pain, but look to see what might actually be the source of the pain.
My shoulders, like where the blades are, in between the blades. And I don't know if that's from like holding your neck a certain way or posture. I don't know what that's from, but I've noticed that's where the stuff is, where I have to work the kinks out.
It's important to understand that the muscles work together to create movement and stability in your body. So you want to look at this region as a whole. This shoulder area is comprised of a number of muscles attached to a couple of different bones, and it's really complex and creates a lot of complex movements. It's about having a holistic approach rather than focusing on that one specific area. And I know that the pain is the first thing that you're going to want treated, but in order to have more than just temporary relief, you're going to have to understand how everything is connected. Let's look at two muscles of the chest, pectoralis major and pectoralis minor. We'll call them pec major and pec minor for short. This is the pec major. It's one of the muscles in the chest. It attaches along the breastbone, stretches underneath the collarbone and the rib cage all the way to the upper arm. This is the pec minor. It attaches at a projection of bone that's actually a part of the scapula, the shoulder blade bone, but appears on the front side of the body right below the collarbone. It's 3 fingers attached to the rib cage onto 3 different ribs. The pec minor and the pec major work in conjunction with each other. And together they create either the arms kind of forward like this, and also they kind of round the shoulder forward. So there's this, and then there's this. There's a bone in here that I can feel, and if this is in alignment, proper alignment, it will actually be right aligned under your ear. But so right now I can tell that it's forward. So what that means, what that says to me is that this muscle that's responsible for keeping your arm back like that is actually in a stretched position. So imagine holding a stretch for all day. Then, and going home and sleeping on your side. So we're continuing that same stretched position. So something like that, a muscle that is always in this constant stretch is going to be weak, but it's also going to be trying to fight too, to hold on. And so that's why a lot of that pain happens in here. Opening the chest will help create balance for a number of common activities and body positions. Okay, I'm going to have you grab right here in the front part of your armpit. Yeah.
It's tender.
So it feels tender. And just to bring your arm out and in. And do you feel it moving in your fingertips? You don't have to hold it very tight.
Yeah, it's like moving forward and back.
Yeah. So what's happening is that when your arm is out here, it's stretched out. And I don't know, maybe you can feel that it feels like it's stretching out. And then when you bring it in closer, the muscle is contracting, so it's shortening. To tell someone who's really worked so hard to get their body looking a certain way that they're causing problems, you know, is difficult. But there are ways to address them. Stretches that open up your chest and doing exercises that work the muscles in your back are really beneficial.
I don't stretch. So I started stretching though. I kind of fell off. I haven't seen you in a while, so.
that.
Yeah.
Here are some stretches you can do to open your chest.
2, 3, 4.
Place your hand on a wall and slowly turn away, keeping shoulders down away from the ears, maintaining slow, deep breaths. Feel the stretch under the collarbone, into the upper arm, and down through the fingertips. Here's another one. Place hands on the door frame, step forward, and feel the stretch in your chest. Use the entire perimeter of the door frame to access different parts of the pecs. By lengthening the front of the shoulder region, the muscles attached to the back shorten and begin to relax.
But what if, like, you know, you are a person who is masculine of center and you're in that position to take away from that area. And so, like, anytime you, like, open up or whatever, it makes your chest more visible. But, like, is it changing your posture or, like, just making sure you're working out these, you know, because I feel like I'm still going to walk like that, I think.
It's really important to be honest about the fact that I'm probably not going to change this.
Yeah.
So let's figure out what things you are willing to change. And maybe one of those things that you're willing to change is to sleep on your back, for instance, at night.
Yeah.
And what sleeping on your back can do is just give your body however many hours you do sleep to open up your chest like this and shorten those muscles in the back.
Yeah.
And you can do all that in the privacy of your home, and you don't have to have anybody questioning what you're doing with your body. It's just about making smaller adjustments. There has to be some kind of equilibrium. You got an 18-year-old who's coming up, looks up to you, and is going through some similar stuff that you have gone through, especially in terms of gender. What are some things that you would say to that person?
Try everything that you like to do and see, like, really experience, like, what your body has to offer, you know, outside what a lot of things, like, people are putting on you or what society is putting on you. Like, really be in your body and see what it can do, you know. And I think when I look at the things that I do with my body in particular, like, I think I really do like to be in my body for those reasons, because especially in places where gender doesn't matter, you know, like if you're boxing or if you're playing basketball, I'm not thinking about, you know, if I'm a man or a woman, or if I'm on the dance floor, like, I'm not like thinking if I'm a man or a woman. I'm just like, you know, am I executing this papa? You know, like, if I'm like, am I jerking right?
The first step to making informed, intuitive choices about your own path to optimal health is to bring awareness into the body. From this place, you can assess where there is stagnancy, tension, or strain, and determine how you will approach making change. Physical opening of the chest can bring about energetic and emotional openings and create space for healthy transformation. Self-care is an interdependent process. We need to cultivate mutually beneficial relationships that foster both individual and community wholeness and well-being. Fortunately, our communities are made of a number of skilled and intuitive healers to facilitate that process.
You're just, like, battling between, like, you know, accepting yourself and needing the world to accept you, needing people around you to accept you, and then also wanting to be a healthy bodied person. Acceptance wasn't working for me through, like, Western medicine or Western ideas of gender. And so to work towards being healthy, I thought maybe it would be a good idea at working at accepting, like, my body for what it is and, like, what it had to offer.
Wild Seed Wellness offers affordable massage therapy for queer and trans people of color in Oakland. For more information, check out wildseedwellness.com.